right, after evaluating the film on Sunday and really breaking it down, that we found there's some good things and some bad things in all three phases of the game. There, as usual, but there were many bright spots. There were some things that we were able to take from this game, and hopefully we'll be able to grow on, and we'll be a better football team because of it. We're excited about coming home and playing in front of our fans again, and taking on a very good Georgia Tech football team that will, that totally makes you stop everything that you're doing on defense and change, to prepare for the triple option attack.
In your years coaching, have you seen many performances like what Mark Reese gave you? Combining everything he did, and as well as the grittiness and the toughness that he
I don't know how many times. I mean, I don't know about all that, but I can tell you he was just the toughness and grittiness, to use your terminology. I mean, was on top of how he performed, was really good. It wasn't always that he made the best decisions in the game, but he made up for it in heart and want to, and provided a spark for a football team to give us a chance to win a game.
After the game, you said that the decision to keep Mark Reese in the third series came as the game went on. Leading into Georgia Tech, are you going to make that decision in the game, or are you planning?
I mean, we'll talk about it on Thursday like we normally do, and then we'll make a decision on Thursday. I mean, he had a good feel. We had a good flow. We had a good tempo going. We had a good rhythm going. And so we just, we said if that was going to happen, and we've said that before, that we wouldn't do anything. And in this game, that we did have a good flow going. I mean, it's one of the few games we've had early where we've started fast and had some things going well in the first quarter. So that's why we decided to do what we did.
You said Georgia Tech makes you stop everything you're doing on defense and focus on something else. Do you think maybe that could be an advantage this week, considering the defense maybe hasn't done so well the last couple of weeks?
I don't know that, defending the triple option is difficult. I mean, whether you're having success or you're not, it's a very difficult offense to run, and Paul Johnson runs it as good as anybody in the country, and does a tremendous job with it. So, we will have to, it's something that we worked on all during fall camp. You spent time on it, and now you have to, Sunday when we came in, we went immediately to it for our defense and giving them the looks, and you got basically 3 days to get ready for it, so it makes it tough.
You guys have done a better job of limiting the big plays on defense. We're giving up a lot of long drives that result in touchdowns. How difficult is that to kind of overcome and what's done with it?
Well, it's always tough. It's a variety of reasons. In this previous game, you had we had 83 yards just on quarterback scrambles alone, not quarterback runs, just scrambles. Which is what that kid could do. And then you had the screens that just killed us. And that's just bad angles. Missed tackles on those screens, and they broke our back right there with the screens, whether it was a slip screen or the tunnel screen. And we've got to do a better job of retracing with the defensive line, but yeah, it makes it difficult when you are doing a much better job against the the big plays. But when they grind it out, when you make a team grind it out, when you make a team go multiple plays, usually defensively, you're going to end up being okay, because most offenses are going to make a mistake at some point in there, get behind the chains, and you're going to force them to punt.
I believe you guys have forced 15 turnovers and you have a blocked field goal. Out of those 16 plays, you've scored 13 times as a result. 12 of them were touchdowns. What is it about your team that's been able to capitalize on this situation? Well,
we've again spent a lot of time talking, and emphasizing creating takeaways, and offensively, that's something that when you get a change of possession, a quick change of possession, you've got to strike. And that's something that we spend a lot of time talking about, and a lot of time emphasizing that when you get a turnover like that, you gotta strike. And our guys have done a very good job of that.
Twice you've done it with a trick play, that Ryan's pass against ECU, and then the other day with Quinshot's pass. Is that just a really opportune time to run something like that because you're catching a defense?
It has been. I mean, I don't, whether or not it'll be in the, in the future, I don't know. But yeah, in those two situations, it really was. And, for us, those type of situations are practiced. And, sometimes you have those for every game and the opportunities don't come up. Not necessarily was it on a turnover, but was it on the hash that you wanted it on? Was it where you wanted it on the field? Sometimes they come up, sometimes they don't. So we usually have those prepared for every game, and it's whether or not you get the opportunity to use them.
You talked about making teams grind it out offensively. Do you have to change that strategy at all with Georgia Tech, considering their offense kind of specializes in grinding it out every time?
Well, you got to, the thing that Georgia Tech does is they do a tremendous job of possessing the ball. They stay ahead of the chain so they're not in long yardage situations on third down. And so they can still get to their entire offense, which is the triple option. So that alone, you go from, offensively, you go from, averaging probably 14 to 15 possessions in a game to 9, maybe 10. When you went back and looked at last year's, we had 10 possessions in the game, and one of those was 24 seconds left right before the half. So, you get the ball back and you don't have much, so you really had 9 possessions. So, they are, very efficient offensively with their possessions, and you have to be offensively also. You can't have a guy flinch and get behind the chains or jump off sides or turn the football over, all those things. I think you're going to look. You look back at Georgia Tech when they don't turn the football over, they're going to win the majority of their games. And that goes for everybody. But even more so when you have fewer possessions.
Do you show that? Are you going to mention it at all to the guys this week? The last 2 years, I know those are both tough losses. Do you mention that to them or bring that up? Or do you kind of?
We talk about we talked about it yesterday, what they're looking for, what their style is, and what they want to do on offense, and how their offense and their defense complement each other.
How long do you feel like it's taken your defense to get acclimated to what they do at the beginning of games?
You talking about Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how long? I don't know how long, but the speed of the game. There's no way you're going to show them the speed of the game with the triple option in practice. You just don't, because we don't run it. You're not going to get a scout team to run the triple option as efficiently, as quickly as they do. So it takes some time at the beginning of the game, to get acclimated to the speed of it. So, hopefully it doesn't take too long, because they're going to only have so many possessions.
Speaking of speed, was that the quickest you guys have been this year at getting plays off after plays?
I don't know if it was the quickest, but what you saw the other day is we were moving the chains, so we're in a rhythm. So you are, now you're seeing the offense, run the way it's supposed to be run, and you're able to get into a flow, which makes it difficult for a defense. But if you don't move the chains, you were 9 of 17 on third down, and that was key. If you don't move the chains, you're coming off and you don't get into that rhythm. You don't get into that change of tempos that you're trying to do. So, yeah, I would say the other day, especially early in the ball game, especially in that first half, it was as good as it's been all year, especially in the first half.
You guys seem a lot more vertical in the passing game. Is that their assessment of what went into that?
What they were giving us, just really what they were giving us, because it was. We knew that we were going to push the ball down the field, probably at least once or twice a quarter, just, to make them soften up a little bit and help us in the running game.
Jeff has 2 pick sixes this year, and it seems like he's around the ball quite a bit. How would you assess his play?
I'd say he's really done a nice job. I think the other day he would have played an excellent game, except he had a missed tackle, or 2 missed tackles, excuse me. Or he would have been an unbelievable game. He's really playing well. He's providing leadership for us. He is very well respected again by both sides of the ball. So really doing a heck of a job for us.
How do you go about trying to fix the penalty problem that you guys have had, not just this year, but since you've been here?
you keep doing what we're doing, and you say, well, you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting the same results. But I really believe, in practice, we're doing things the way they're supposed to be done. We just got to play smarter. I mean, now, the PIs, 2 of those PIs we're probably beat in those situations, and I can live with what happened, on them, because it's better doing that than giving up a touchdown. The false starts on offense, that's inexcusable, really. I mean, to have 3 or 4 of those a game, there's really no reason for that. And we've got to do a much better job of that. I mean, really, our holding calls have been way down. I mean, compared to last year, the year before. We continue, we've had at least 1 on special teams, I think, every week. I believe, and again, we've got to do a much better job of that.
I mean, do you consider, though, I guess, reevaluating anything you are doing with this part of it? I mean, I know you can preach it.
Yeah, well, this year we've got officials at practice every practice on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. When we've got guys there, we got them making calls, we got them, I don't know what else you do.
Do you penalize guys in practice for knockdowns or whatever?
We do.
What kind of penalties or punishments do you do?
We positively reinforce them.
Other than the kick coverage, it appears that the special teams taking some steps back last week, so the mistakes have sort of been piling up everywhere other than kick coverage. How do you?
Yeah, kick coverage has been really good. Punt, and both our punt and our kickoff coverage, we've done a really good job. I think our return game, both in our kickoff and our punt returns, have been well below average. And again, it's just another deal of where you got to have all 11 guys on the same page, and all 11 guys got to believe, and all 11 guys got to give as much effort as they possibly can. And we're not getting that.
On the 2-point conversion that Hubert threw, was that called for the sideline? Was it like a read or something he saw the way others' name was lined up?
It's a read. Yeah.
How do you feel about your run defense has been both really good at times and also has struggled at times? Is that, there's things that you can point to that would match up better with a triple option like Georgia Tech, or worse, or how do you feel about it?
It's a totally different style of offense. So you're talking about now option assignments. Every guy's going to have to be very disciplined and do exactly what their job is, whether they have the dive, whether they have the pitch, whether they have the quarterback. I mean, again, Paul mixes things up, and with formations and going unbalanced to try to get guys out of where they're supposed to be. And so they do a great job of it. And just one thing I'm going to tell you from being on that side of it, for a couple of years, I know, when teams are practicing it and it limits what you do defensively. You can't do a whole lot. You're going to run a couple of things and you better be good at them. So on the other side of it from them, then you decide how you're going to attack the 2 things that they're doing. And, so that's the advantage of that offense.
Has it given your team any extra confidence knowing that the mistakes are still recurring? They didn't have to play a perfect game, and they were in it in the 4th quarter with a chance to win against a top 10 team on the road.
Yeah, I think that our football team came out of that understanding that if we take care of ourselves, we can play with anybody. I mean, but again, for us, it's about us. And every team we've played, that have defeated us, you give them the credit. They've done a great job. But we just got to take care of us. If we take care of us, we give ourselves a chance to win against anybody.
With the roughing the snapper fall, it sounds like Kelly and the Notre Dame coach knew about kind of something going on, or the ref was watching out for it. Were you aware of that? Did you tell Otis to maybe be on the lookout for?
No. I think Otis was doing exactly what I told him to do. He did exactly what I told him to do. So,
Did he seek out any kind of explanation or anything after the game?
Did Otis?
Did you?
No, I mean, that comes today, you know, when we send the stuff into the conference office. So I'll wait for a reply there.
The offensive line.
You talked about before how in the ideal world, what one side of the ball does really shouldn't affect what the other side does. Saturday, Notre Dame had a 21 straight points. East Carolina had 28 straight points, Birmingham stretch. Clemson had 20 straight points. What's the key to preventing those types of runs when both sides of the ball seem to struggle?
Well, there's nothing, I mean, there's not, you know, there's no magic formula. You just, you do your job. That's all you have to do. You do your job and you play harder than the guy across from you. That's, I mean, and that's whether you get a run going or you don't have a run going. You do the same thing. You don't have to change. I mean, that's the game. The game of football, there's momentum swings in every game, you know, and so you have to, you know, that's what you talk about when you talk about handling adversity. You got some adversity going on, and somebody steps up and makes a play and stops it, you know, and turns the tide. And, you know, I mean, if you didn't have those, if you didn't stop the tide, it would just keep going, you know. And so the other day, you know, they got going, they scored 21 points, and then we started rolling back again. So, I mean, it's just, you know, you can't get caught up in the flow, you can't get caught up in what's happening, you got to just keep playing.
How'd the offensive line grade out, in particular, John?
I thought, you know what, John Heck, for his first game back, did a heck of a job, you know, not being 100%, but he played really well in the game. We didn't give up a sack, you know, they brought multiple blitzes. I thought our guys did a good job of handling it, deciphering what they did, and we ran the ball more effectively.
When the team started 1-5 last year, I guess this year, guys were saying we got to start fast this time. How discouraging is it to maybe be in a similar situation again this year, and are there things you can take from last year that you think?
Well, you don't. Yeah, there's nothing that you like about it, I can assure you. You know, and you would have hoped that we would have learned the lessons from it last year, and so it didn't happen again this year. A lot of different circumstances, but yeah, there are lessons that you take from it, and you know, that's why you don't get too discouraged with where you are, because you know what you can do. You just got to get it changed.
I guess are there similarities from last year to this year that maybe give you hope going forward?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I guess I would say that this Notre Dame game was a lot like Miami last year. You know, and we learned a lot of lessons in that game, and we started playing much better. And hopefully we'll do the same thing this year.
I know you're focused on your team, but in the preseason, the league coaches talk a lot about prestige of the league as a whole. Florida State is sort of the only team that really is in a position to, you know, make a run at the playoff right now. Do league teams, when you're done with sort of what you're doing on Saturday, do you pay attention to that for, you know, the good of the league, that kind of thing, for Florida State to keep winning and what it would do for the league, or do you care at this point?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you want the league to do good. You want the league to do good nationally. There's no doubt about it. But I don't have time to sit around and hope that Florida State does well. I mean, I got enough problems. I mean, I don't pay much attention to anybody else right now. I mean, and I'm not even sure if I've seen them play. You know, so I've seen the teams that we play. I don't get to watch much TV unless you know, unless we're open or something like that on a Saturday. So.
Very good. All right. Thank you.